starting new topics. They are not that topic which we have till now learned, like database, network, all those things. These are the stuff which we already aware somehow, so it was little bit normal to learn. Now we are starting like a Kinesis, then Lambda, then Root 53. These topics are itself the whole topic, separate topics, right? Okay, so till now we have learned about 2-3 types of databases, right? We have learned the RDS, we have learned DynamoDB, we have learned the Elastic Cache. So we understood that the purpose of all these 3 databases is different. Over and above, we have learned about the Aurora also, right, which is providing enhanced facilities over MySQL and Postgres. Okay, so let's just understand about the Kinesis. Any idea about Kinesis? Did you try to learn or read the document? Any document? Any article related with the Kinesis?
Sorry, didn't.
No problem. See, so let me bring the paint. Do you have an idea like how CCTV camera works? How this live gaming works, like PUBG game, right? So if there are 2-3 people are connected to play the PUBG game, so if like for example one person is moving from here to here, so all the 3 people who are connected with that game will see that this is live streaming. How that video call will work, like a person sitting at a different country can see the different country's person, right? So how these things work, these live streaming and all those things, how they are processing, like there are some system, right, they that is happening in the network. So same way for real time data processing, analysis, live streaming, for all those type of thing, or for all those storage, or for all those analysis, AWS has one service called Kinesis. Okay, so for Kinesis is for real-time data processing, analysis, streaming. Okay, so whenever you will see, though this topic is not that much common, but I don't know why is this important for exam. You will get at least 2 questions related with this particular topic, Kinesis. And it's not like you need to do the practical or something, though if you will able to do the practical, it's very good for you. But if you have a concept understanding with this particular topic, you are able to answer the question properly. It's like it's easy also, just the only thing you need to understand the concept, right? So what happened in the real world, right, normal real world, we have multiplayer games, right? We have machine learning, we have a live video streaming, and calls. Data from IoT devices. What do you understand by IoT devices data? The meaning of data from IoT devices is like, for example, we have a house. Okay, this is our house. At the door of my house, I applied one CCTV camera. It is there somewhere, attached it at my wall, CCTV camera. So I applied one sensor here if someone will come to my door, even though if he has not touched the door, but there is one border line, right? And if that someone will cross that line and stay there for 30 second or 20 second, automatically definitely my camera is continuously streaming what is happening at my door. But if that is there for 30 second or 20 second, and or if he has knocked my, or if he has pressed the doorbell, so what will happen, I will get the snap of that particular person immediately at my mobile. Here I will receive that person's snapshot, that who has came to my door.
That's what
So
called motion detection, or it's separate.
yeah, that's a motion detection is the technique they are using. But what I'm trying to explain here is data from IoT devices, like you are see, the camera is sending the snap to my mobile. So internet, everything, like how is this happening? IoT means like internet of thing. What is the meaning of IoT? See, internet of thing. So you will get connected everywhere, like a door is a different, camera is a different part, but you are getting a snap at your mobile. So everything at the real time processing is happening, and you are receiving your snap at device. It's just a hypothetical example I am giving, but there might be chances there are different examples also for this particular point. But what thing I'm trying to explain is, these are the things if you want to perform. So there are a lot of things are available in the market, but what AWS is providing for all those things, so they have a service that is known as Kinesis, which perform all those things for you. Understood the purpose of Kinesis, why we need to read it?
Yes.
So let's just take another example also for more detailed understanding. Consider all these things as a producer. Okay, producer is like who produce some data, not that movie producer I am talking about here. So the producers, what they will do, like mobile gaming person, what he will produce, he will produce the movement at his machine, right? And the consumer side, there are a consumer, like for example there are two people sitting and playing the game. Okay, they are playing the game. Here the person is also playing a PUBG, and he is also playing a PUBG. So if he performs some movement from here to here, he will also see that movement here. So what data he is producing? He is producing this movement. So what consumer is getting? He is also getting this movement at his end. So how is this happening? Right? How is this happen? So in the middle of here we will have this one engine. Just understand the engine, consider as a Kinesis as an engine who is processing. So here this is the Kinesis. So what Kinesis do? Whatever data it is producing, see the logo also, everything is coming and going inside this, and after this it will go to there, real time. Understood the example? Anything, machine learning also, live video streaming, you're talking something, you are speaking here and it is going there. Your mobile, whatever image it is here, it is showing there also. Any doubt till now?
So basically, it's just sending the data.
Till now, as I know, I have not explained more thing to you. So till now, just understand.
Okay.
जो यहाँ है वो यहाँ दिख रहा है, simple.
With the help of
जो
Kinesis.
producer, yes, with the help of Kinesis. live streaming kind of thing, producer and consumer part, and you have in the middle of both of them you have a Kinesis. Just think that as an engine who is processing the data from here to here. That's it, understand till here. Okay, now what exactly Kinesis have do? See, Amazon Kinesis collect, process and analyze real-time video and data streams. Okay, now real time, whenever you will see anything, any question related with the real time word or the stream word, right, you then and there you should understand that कि भाई this question is related with the Kinesis only. अभी ऑप्शन में अगर आपको 3-4 ऑप्शन दिख रहे हैं एंड इफ़ यू हैव वन ऑप्शन विच इज़ नॉट हैविंग एनीथिंग रिलेटेड विद द किनेसिस, तो ये तो समझ में आ ही जाएगा कि दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑप्शन इज़ नॉट द आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन. Okay, so this is how you need to answer the question, because now I guess you guys are on that stage where you need to understand कि भाई आंसर कैसे करने हैं क्वेश्चन को, because we have covered almost all the important services. So if first always understand the purpose of the service, why we have a networking, why we have a VPC, why we have a NAT, why we have a VPN, what is the purpose it is resolving. ऐसा क्या था जो रिजॉल्व नहीं कर रहा था. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल VPN एंड पॉइंट, VPC एंड पॉइंट हमने पढ़ा. ओके, सो VPC एंड पॉइंट में भी हमारे पास में एक चीज़ थी, दैट इज़ लाइक इफ़ वी हैव कनेक्ट विद द NAT गेटवे एंड हम IAM रोल असाइन कर देंगे, सो वी आर एबल टू सी दैट S3 bucket in with the help of private machine. But what extra benefit VPC endpoint has provided? It has provided the private connection without internet and cheaper thing. NAT gateway is costlier and NAT gateway is exposed to internet, and I want to connect with my private machine to S3, so मैं एक private line के through connect हो रही हूँ, right? So this was the problem जो उसको resolve कर रहा है. So you need to understand the problem statement related with the service. Practical you can do. If you are good with the practical and understanding, you will be able to answer the questions. Okay, now same way they can ask the question related with the SQL also, like a database, right? They could have asked that a DynamoDB related question, like I want to store such kind of data which is not having any structure, or like that, any of the question. Like they can ask I want to store my in-memory data, so obviously you should have answered that option which is having a elastic cache. And again there might be a chances under elastic cache they will give you two options which is having a Redis and memcached also. But if they have mentioned that I want to store in-memory data with the snapshot or the backup, all the stuff should be there, then definitely memcached is not having an option to do the snapshot. So you should go with the option called Redis, because it is allowing the facility to create a snapshot. It will allow you to create a facility to clusterize your in-memory data. Okay, yeah. So under Kinesis we have 4 types of Kinesis options available. So we need to understand these only, that's it. This is more than enough to understand any of the Kinesis part. So Kinesis have a Kinesis Data Stream, Kinesis Data Firehouse, Kinesis Data Analytics, Kinesis Video Streaming. So now what is the meaning of these 4? Let's just understand one by one. Kinesis video streaming, what happened? The input here is the camera or mobile camera, anything which is like video stream, like a video call, CCTV camera, anything. So what it do? This is the input. With the help of Kinesis video stream, integrates durable storage, encrypt and index a video stream for a real time and a batch analysis. So what happened here is, here you get the information in the form of videos, and the video stream will collect that information and pass it to the any of the places. Like SageMaker is like a AI, machine learning and AI tool, which has been provided by AWS for real-time processing. So it's kind of high-level service. ओके, सो यहाँ से डेटा लेके इसको हियर दे नीड टू पास इट. Like for example, smart home part, I have given you one example. This was my example. So I want to create a smart home. So this is the example of a smart home. Like whosoever is coming at my place, I should get the response in my mobile. So in the middle of this you will have this Kinesis video streaming will be attached here. So with the how it is happening, how you are getting this snap, so with the help of Kinesis video streaming. That service you need to configure here. Same way, if you want to create a smart city, okay, how to create that smart city? You have a CCTV camera all over in the city, and you have in the middle what now you want, the traffic should be controlled based on that. So how to do that? Kinesis. Okay, see, so what happened, you have an input. What input you have? You have a lot of CCTV cameras. Okay, why I'm trying to make you understand, because this images should be there in your mind. Then only you will be answer these questions properly in the exam. See, so we have a CCTV camera here. This CCTV camera records the footage of your city's traffic, and we have so many AI analysis services. It could be anything like SageMaker, MLOps. What are so many services we have for machine learning? So we are right now not discussing that machine learning thing, but AI services. Okay, and with that AI services, what happen, you will automatically get the processed data, live data which was there, so it got processed with the help of AI services, and you will get the output. So according to that you can control your traffic signals also. Okay, so how this happened? This happened like this. Nobody is sitting in the office nowadays and controlling that traffic signal, because there are lot of traffic signal in the city. There are some of the automation is already automatically applied which control that traffic signals. How is that happen? It happens with the help of this type of services, which, so now this service has been provided by AWS. People can use it and buy it from AWS. Understood what exactly Kinesis video stream do?
Yes.
Now we have another service called Kinesis Data Stream. So Kinesis video stream is the for the video streaming. Kinesis Data Stream is for the data streaming. Now data streaming could be anything, and data is data only. So what it do, it capture and sends data to the data stream here, and with the help of Splunk is the monitoring tool, right? Kinesis Data Analyzer, I'll tell you what exactly Kinesis Data Analyzer do. Amazon EC2, Lambda. So what you can do, your website is running on AWS EC2 or the Lambda function, any of them your website is running. So you can bring your data and you can attach with the Kinesis data stream, and it will pass that data to here, and you will get the output like in a graph chart or something. So it will process your data. Okay, so this is how, like for example in monitoring, I told you that how you are getting that graphs and all those stuff. It will show the performance of your CPU networking like this, so you can create that. So with the help of data analyzer also, it will process that real-time data. So here video streaming is happening, here data streaming is happening. Now next point is the Firehouse. In Firehouse also data streaming is happening, but the difference between Firehouse and the data streaming, the both are doing same job, but they both are is having a different purpose. Here what happened, let me tell you, the basic difference is, here only streaming data is stored at for 24 hours. right? Like for example, you have a 10 lines of data, so it will store inside the data stream for 24 hours by default. You can increase this data from 24 hours to 365 days, but you have to pay the charges, and this will not be cheaper, it will be costlier. So what you you want to store that data also, but you don't want to pay the extra charges. And this is like a live, because live data is storing here. But here with the Kinesis, what happened, here with the Kinesis you can store that data into S3 bucket or Redshift or OpenSearch or Splunk, any of the service. They are cheaper than the data stream, and it is also having a live data, but the only thing is it is having a little delay for around 60 seconds, because it takes a 60 seconds time to store those data into these of the services. Anywhere you can store. So this is the only difference. Otherwise they both are same service. Here it is storing data automatically into and it is into their database, and it is going with these services, and it is producing the output. Here also it is doing the same thing, same output you will get. The only difference, you will store your data according to your service. That's it. Firehouse will help you to store the data. Here you, it
So
will
we
not
will
help.
so we
Hmm.
will get that live streaming 60 seconds later, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but the main
And
purpose
in
of, yeah,
so it's storing also, but we can see the live data after 60 minutes in data
60
firehouse.
seconds.
Okay, 60 seconds. So
Yes,
what's
small amount of delay.
okay, okay.
See, Kinesis Data Firehouse is an extra transform load service that reliably capture, transform, and deliver streaming data to data lake, data store, and analytics service. It's like it is also doing the same job, but it is storing here. But here, what is happening? Kinesis Data Stream is the serverless streaming data service that simplify the capture and processing and storing data stream at any scale. It's like it's also doing the same thing, but it's storing inside that only. So it is storing inside the data stream, and it is producing the output. But here it is storing somewhere else also. So you will get the storage also, and you will get the output also.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is the data analyzer then? What exactly it is doing? So, data analyzer is, you can perform live query and live analysis also. It is also doing the same job. It is collecting a data and producing the output, but during the in the middle of live streaming, you can query your data, you can analyze that, and you can produce the result accordingly. So see, here you can produce the alerts also. Like see, everywhere you are getting the same type of output here, but here you are getting extra thing. So it means based on the query and analysis, you can produce the email, you can produce the notification, anything you can produce. So that's the different. It's like an analyzer. So at the end of the day, there are 2 points. One is video streaming and the data streaming. So for video streaming, you have only one service, that is a Kinesis video stream, and for data you have a three types of services. So if someone will ask you, you just only want a live data streaming, so you will select the data streaming option. If someone will ask you that you want to store that data also, the live stream data, into any of the service, so you need to select the Kinesis Data Firehouse. But if you want to process or query or analyze the live data, and if you want to get the alert and response immediately live, so you need to go and select the Kinesis Data Analysis. Any doubt till now? Okay. So this is about the
So,
Kinesis. Yeah.
so in the third one, in the third one, it's just giving us the alert, or it will also save the data, but in its own data analysis, right? Like,
See, it's not mandatory that you can only use one Kinesis data analyzer. You can use the Kinesis data analyzer with the Kinesis Data Firehouse also. You can attach it to these two options also. If you want to store also and if you want to analyze also, so you can use both. No problem in one go. So if you want
okay.
to store that data also, so you can do that.
So basically, first and third one are kind of similar. Just in the first one
No,
is
no,
giving the live
no.
streaming, and in the third one, giving the alerts.
No, 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 no. A little bit different. They both are different. The use case are different. Here, what happened? Build custom real-time application using Kinesis data analysis stream process for frameworks such as Apache Splunk or Stream. Your code run Amazon EC2 and Lambda. It's like it help the data what it is processing and like integrating with these Lambda and EC2 will be the live data which will help us to run my website or my application. But here data analyzer is a different part. Here it is capturing the streaming with the Amazon MSK, Amazon Kinesis data stream. See, the input will be the data stream here. Like whatever data it is collecting, it could be the chances could be the chance the data will be collected from the stream. Here what happened, जैसा data आ रहा है वैसे ही pass हो जा रहा है. But
Okay.
here the data is coming and then processing and analyze whether it is correct or not, then it is sending the alert and all those stuff. Like for example here, I'm just taking the hypothetical example. Here it is data is collecting that CPU utilization 70% hai, so it just go and pass it the same data. But here if that data is CPU utilization 70% hai, then it will analyze. I will apply some condition here, and if that 70% is higher than my expectation, then only I will get the notification or email alert, all those stuff.
Okay. Now I got it.
Okay, so this is about the Kinesis. We will not do any demo for this, just understanding is more than enough. Now yeah, next is Lambda. So what do you understand by Lambda? No idea.
No, but I heard this name lot of time.
Yes, and it's a quite tricky one also. So let's just understand Lambda. See, till now, let me share the use case first, then you will understand. Okay, let's just take the example of any developer who is developing a code in Python or Java, for example. Java or Python, any of the language. Okay, so if that person has developed the code, what he has to do to test that? He need one machine. Under that machine there should be a minimum requirement of for example 16 GB RAM and 250 GB of SSD, right? GB of SSD. He need at least processor of i3 or i5, right? He need a Java install, or if it is a Python code, then Python should also be installed in the machine. And if any prerequisite or dependency is required, pre-dependency something, okay, that software also should be installed. Like to run that Java code properly or write that Java code properly, he need Eclipse, right? Eclipse. to build that. So there are a lot of things he required, right? Because he is doing that part in his machine. But what if I should get any of the system where I will just write my code in Notepad in my laptop, and I will get a machine automatically readily available for me, and I can go and directly run over that, which will do all the jobs related to my code automatically. This is known as serverless. Here, since we have started learning AWS, we are for almost all the tasks what we are doing, we are creating one EC2 machine to perform that task. So we are so much dependent on one machine, right? But what if that machine will also be removed? You will get any system which will help you to just go and put your code then and there and just press the run button and it will give you the output. So that system also you need to design, like you are doing what you are doing here. You are designing that system by yourself, then you are going and running the code. So before running the code, you need to perform these many things. Then only you will get the output here. So the output which this machine will generate and the output which this machine will generate will be the same. But here you need to perform so many prerequisite steps. And configuring any of the system by yourself might have a lot of error and time consuming also. So, and one more point, there are a lot of okay, so till now understood the use case, then I'll go with the next part. So I should get any of the system which will help me to create this system automatically. Like if I have a code here, according to that my code, I need, for example, 8 GB of RAM, 250 GB of SSD, or might be any of the processor i5, or I need I have created a Java code, so I should get the Java install like version 11 Java or anything. So these are some of the dependency. So automatically while analyzing my code, they all should be selected automatically. Understood till here?
Yes.
So this is known as serverless, where you are not dependent on the servers. You are not dependent on the server configuration, where your headache related with the patching, OS, server performance, configuration, pre-dependencies are totally gone. You are only focusing towards your work, that you have written one code in Java or a Python. You want to test it. So this is the main purpose here. Now again, so what service AWS is providing for this is Lambda. Okay, so Lambda is a function, okay, where you write your code and which help us to perform all these stuffs automatically. So Lambda is a compute service that lets you run code without processing or managing a service. Okay. You can run any of the services, any of the backend application code without zero administration, right? Without any administration tasks. You can just go and write your a function and you can go ahead and run that. So how to do that? How these things happen? Let's just understand a little bit more about the Lambda. See, these are some of the working style. Like, for example, you have captured one photo. Okay, now you want to store that photo into S3, but along with that you want to perform some task. Like for example, you want to store the related data of your image to DynamoDB. or you want to resize it, or something you want to perform. So what happened here, as soon as you have captured a photo and put that photo into the S3, automatically Lambda function will trigger, which will have some of the code here, the coding language. The code could be anything, Python, Java, Ruby, or Go. So that code will be triggered, and the code will automatically call the other service to process that data or to store that data. Same way, stream processing. For stream also, with the Kinesis streaming, you can call the Lambda function and it can store the data into DynamoDB also. Like for example, Kinesis Kinesis data stream you have attached, right? So under Kinesis data stream, it is just only collecting a data. So once it will collect the data, immediately it will prompt and call to the Lambda function, and that Lambda function can go and store that related data into DynamoDB. It can process also, anything it could be done. And with that data, you can generate a social media threads also. Like for example, see, most of the time if you have seen, if you have searched something in the Google Chrome, automatically you will get the ads in your Instagram and Facebook. But nowadays Instagram is so fast. If you are talking also about something, some of the product, like for example, if you have talked about the laptop, fridge, or anything, automatically it will start giving the ads in your Instagram. So how is this happening? It is collecting a real-time data, right? So it will generate the threads and advertisement to your social media. There are web application processing also. These are kind of like a S3. You have a data and API gateway again. So that as we have not discussed about this service, so I'll skip that part as of now. IoT again. Tractor sensor send a data to Amazon Kinesis, and Kinesis, what it will do, sensor data processing by a Lambda will call and order automatically placed for the replaced part. Like tractor is having some issue, so automatically it has been captured by the Kinesis live streaming, and automatically that Lambda function trigger for ordering the part, and automatically it has ordered. So these are some of the automation you can perform with the help of Lambda. Same way, mobile is like API gateway. Okay, leave that part as of now. So what extra other thing Lambda do, if it is having anything in the feature, so let me check that. Not exactly this one. Run code without thinking about the server or a cluster. Simple as that. Okay, and yes, here provisioning and capacity understanding or the compute, all those things are like done by AWS, right? Balanced memory, CPU, network, other resources, what all are the things you have required for running the Lambda will be done by the AWS. Servers and OS maintenance is also at the end of AWS only. High availability and automatic scaling is also maintained by them. Monitoring and health check is also maintained by the AWS only. Applying security patches, deploying your code, all those stuff, monitoring, logging, everything has been done by the Lambda function or the AWS only. Now, so how it does, how is this happen? So simple thing is, first of all, Lambda is a PaaS service. Okay, platform as a service, where you are just only worried about your data, no need to worry about the platform and the infrastructure. Everything has been maintained by the Lambda. But in EC2 what happened? EC2 is the infrastructure as a service, so you just only can leave the infrastructure part to AWS, but related data and application processing data, everything you need to worry about the yourself. Like a platform also you need to design by yourself over EC2 machine. Here in Lambda, now what happened? Here in Lambda, they support 6 to 7 types of languages. Okay, that could be Java, Node.js, Python. There are a lot of languages. I'll show you in the drop down when we will do the practical. But in EC2, you can go, there is no restriction with the language. You can design and run any type of code. You just need to go and configure it. right? Here in Lambda, what happened, you can go and push your code into the Lambda function and you just only run that, right? So how Lambda work? So what you need to do, first you need to go and create a Lambda function. Under that function you need to go and upload your code, and you need to deploy that, and then you need to execute it. That's it. So it will give you the output. So what you are doing, you can run your code, you can invoke Lambda, you can automatically take care about the output. So AWS automatically take care about your provisioning and managing the servers. Like for example, you have run the code, right? I told you which this code is required minimum of these much of the infrastructure. So automatically it will go and create that. Okay. So this is one part. There is one thing called trigger. Every time I'm talking about the trigger part. Now what is the exact meaning of this trigger thing? So what happened here is, in AWS you have a AWS account, okay, and in AWS you have a, like for example, you have a S3 bucket. So what you have a S3 bucket here, okay. Under this you have this bucket, okay? This is my S3 bucket I have. So what happened here, as soon as the user, so there is a user, what they will do, this user will put some data into S3. So automatically when he will put the data, automatically Lambda function should come to know there is something happened in S3. So it will trigger, the event happen, okay. So it will trigger, so the Lambda is triggered. How is this happening? With the help of IAM role. So here, so what happened here is, as soon as the user will put the data into the bucket, Lambda function will be triggered. So how?
Cannot able to see the screen.
Sorry. Okay. So here, once it will put the data and Lambda function will trigger. So how is this happening? With the help of IAM role. You need to attach one IAM role here, which will have a full working, right? So what happened here, what I was talking about, let me repeat once again. So we have a user who will put some data into the S3 bucket, and I want Lambda should trigger, okay. So I want Lambda should trigger, and immediately it should call another service. That another service could be anything. Now that another service could be like an API gateway for my HTTP processing, like REST API should be called, right? I want a DynamoDB who will help me to store the data. So this is like how these things happening. So in the middle of like and once we will put the data into S3 bucket, I want these two service, for example, to perform something for me. So in the middle of that we will attach a Lambda function which will automatically trigger. Once the bucket will have a data, automatically Lambda will trigger and it will call to these services to perform the example or perform the data, right? So how is this transaction happen? With the help of roles. We need to assign the roles to each of the services so that they can communicate with each other, and we will write some code here in the Lambda function which will help me to perform the task. So this is like a trigger, event happen, like कुछ होगा तो ऐसा कर दो. Okay, understood till
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
So here lot of type of triggers happen, like there are lambda function invocation happen with many time. But before that, let me tell you, there might be a question, if the lambda is that much versatile and that much good, then why we can't use it more often? But the problem here is the lambda function is only available for 15 minutes. Like, what is the meaning of the 15 minutes here is, see the function which how the pricing goes in EC2. What happened, you will charge for hourly basis or might be a second basis. But in lambda function, the best functionality is, you have a function, okay, you have created one function, it is having a 10 lines of code, for example, like this. So if you have stored that 10 lines of code into AWS Lambda dashboard, you will not charged. Here in AWS, if you are having a function created, you will not charge for that. You will only charge for once you will run this code. And for example, this code is run for 190 seconds, okay. For example, it took a time of 190 seconds to run this function. So you will only charge for this 190 second. So the time took by lambda function to execute, you will only charge for that. And that charging will be in the multiple of hundreds. Like the next closer hundreds multiplier is here is 200 seconds. So you will charge for only for the 200 seconds. Suppose if your code is run for 360 seconds, so you will charge for the 400 seconds. Okay, 400 millisecond it is actually lesser than that. By default time is been set by the lambda is the 3 seconds. Okay, why they are keeping this by default time to run that? Because see, there might be a chances your lambda function may behave unintentionally, it got to the infinity loop. So what happened, it will run in the continuous manner, it will not stop, or might be a chance it will not execute also, it got stuck. So they have set the timeout minimum for 3 seconds. Okay, and they have done the maximum execution time. If your function is taking more than 15 minutes, you won't be able to use lambda in that case. For example, you have written a 10,000 line of code and it is taking more than 15 minutes to execute, so you can't use lambda in that case. In that case, you need to go with the traditional way, that is, you need to create a EC2 machine, or you need to configure a Java or a Python, and then you need to test your code. That's why lambda is good, but lambda is costlier also, because if that's why they have kept the limit only 15 minutes. Earlier it was 5 minutes, but after some time they have changed for the 15 minutes. That's it, because they are providing lot of facilities under lambda. They are using a very high level of machines, good quality of infrastructure for your processing your data. That's why it's like they are keeping some limits. Okay, any doubt till now? This 3 second 15 second I'll show you there in the screen, so you will understand it very well when I'll show you the demo.
Okay.
Okay, so there are 3 types of invocation happen in the lambda, which also you should aware about invocation. One is synchronous, sorry, other one is asynchronous, and third one is the poll based. So what happened here is, see, synchronous is like push based. Now what is the meaning of push based is like, once this task will done, right, and if you will get a response, then go and run the lambda function. It's like it is invoking. Okay, it is invoking lambda function. As soon as something happen, just invoke the lambda function. Okay, it's like ऐसा हो तो ऐसा कर दो. Here in a synchronous way, you are getting a response also. Like if something happen, you will get the response, then call the lambda function, then invoke the lambda function. So one lambda function can invoke another lambda function also. It's not mandatory always you will have some other service. No, if one lambda function will do this, then call another lambda function. This could also be possible like this. So you should get the responses here. It's like a synchronous. One is having a dependency on another. Once this will happen, then only perform this. Okay. In asynchronous manner, it is just an event will happen. I am done with my job. I told you that I have put some data in the S3. That's it. अभी इसके बाद क्या करना है आप देख लो. So if data came in S3, whether the lambda function is called, that task is happened, that extra thing, that the trigger which I have applied here is been done or not, उसको मतलब नहीं है. It's like he has done his job, this is my job, okay, do it. Like for example, I have sent my mail. If that mail is not received in your account, I am not worried. You need to check that your network connection. These kind of things. Okay, is the asynchronous manner. Other one is poll based. Now what is the meaning of poll based? We have a lambda function. Okay, so lambda function can perform a polling also. Now what is the polling means? Here we have a lambda, we have a kinesis, for example, kinesis in between. Here we have a kinesis. Okay, this is my kinesis. Okay, so and we have a DynamoDB table also here. So what happened here is, every time lambda go to the kinesis and poll, it will ask, do you have any changes for me? If it will say yes, I have a changes, so it will bring that changes and it will write that changes into the DynamoDB. For example, this is the DynamoDB I am taking example, but there could be SQS also, there could be any other thing also. So lambda function is going to any service and it is pulling the changes. If that changes is there, then it perform the extra task. It is in that case the service could also send the event to this lambda, but most of the time lambda will go to there and pull the changes. Once it will pull the changes, then it will go and perform the task if any changes has been found. Understood? So there are three types of event or invocation happen for the lambda. Not always at the trigger base. It could also be like a job is been done. I have done my job. It can send the notification also. It could also poll the changes. So understood till now? This is all about the theoretical part related with the lambda. Okay, so we have one example which we will perform. That is, we will create one S3 bucket. Okay, and we will have lambda function here. We will have a DynamoDB table here. We will have a role here. So lambda will have a full control over the DynamoDB. So the role will be for that. So and we will have a users. So let me just quickly create the image for you so that you can identify what we are trying to happen. We have a lambda function, okay, we have a s3 bucket, s3 bucket like this. We have s3 bucket here, okay, we have a DynamoDB table here. Okay, we have a users also. We have a lot of users available with us. Now, see, we have a lot of users. Now, as soon as the user will put the data into S3 bucket, Lambda function should trigger. Okay, what event here will happen? Lambda will trigger, or I would say invoke. Okay. Lambda function is performed, then as soon as the S3 will have some data, lambda function will trigger, and what lambda function do, it will bring all the data related with that object which is being put inside the bucket, and it will store that data into the DynamoDB with the help of role. So this is the lab which we are going to perform. Okay, understood till now? Any doubt in this image? So let's just quickly go and first create a role. I am role, okay. So who is calling which service? Lambda is going to write data inside DynamoDB. It's like Lambda is going to use DynamoDB. So how the flow will go? Lambda will have a full access to DynamoDB. Let's just create a role. Create role. Which service? Lambda is going to use AWS full access. Sorry, DynamoDB full access. DynamoDB full access. Is lambda to dynamo db. Okay, that's it, and create. So we have created a role. Let's just create one S3 bucket where we will put our data. Lambda demo bucket. Okay, everything is same, simple, create. Okay, lambda demo 1504, create. Okay, we have created one bucket. Now let's just go to lambda now. So what lambda will do, just 1 second. Huh? Lambda function dashboard where we create a function. So see how many languages it support: .NET, .NET Core, Go, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, or custom runtime. You can customize your runtime also. Now create function. So under this create function option, you will get lot of many options here. So I'm going to develop the function from scratch. Okay, so my demo function, I'll give the name to my function. And what is the runtime I'm using? I have one code which will run in the Python. So that code is here somewhere. Yeah, lambda function. So this is my code. Okay, which will bring the object detail from S3 bucket and it will write that detail into the DynamoDB. Okay, so for that what you need to do, you need to create one DynamoDB table also which is having a UID. So the name should be same. You can change according to your choice, but then in that case you need to update that changes into the script also. And these functions are very easy, you will find in internet very easily. This is the Python code and it's not mandatory you should know the Python. I guess you guys have that much of level of understanding. If you will see any code, you will understand what exactly it is doing. Just simply type what is your requirement into the internet, you will get that those readily available codes there. And in the industry, this is not your job, this could be done by the developer. You should only have a basic understanding, overview. So here, if I'll see this code, it is having some Python related code and it is having just a bucket name, object name, all those details. What it is doing, it is inserting into the my DynamoDB. So I need one DynamoDB table with this name. So let me go and create a DynamoDB table. Create table. Partition key, what I need to give as per my script, it is UID. And let it be the string only. Leave everything is default, create. Now it is creating. Just go to the lambda function here and see, you have selected the runtime and you have created a function here, right? For example, if you want to run this particular code, how many setup you need to perform in your EC2 machine? You can do this task with the help of EC2 machine, but that's what the benefit Lambda is providing. Just create function. See, your lambda function is created and here it is saying that when it has to trigger, it is giving this option. So see, inside this you will get lot of options available like code, test, monitor, configure, alias. So all those related with your function, the code, and here you will get the properties, all the properties. See, the runtime, you have selected this one, like everything is here. Now what I want to show you here is code property. I want to show you. This one. Okay, just wait, I'll show you that extra part also. Just copy this code first and paste that code here. Okay, like this. You can directly upload your code from zip file. If you have a multiple file dependency, you can upload that your code into S3 and you can pass that location here also. So either way you can follow. Just go to file and save. So you have saved your changes, right? Now where is that option? Yes, here, function configuration. See this function configuration. Under this you will see the properties related with the function: destination, function URL, event, tag, UPC. See here, this is the general information. That's what I was talking about. Edit. See, this is very important. Just try to understand here. See, memory is like, what is the memory? how much memory. Lambda function will only ask you about the memory. If you will give the higher the memory, it will always be in the increment of 64, right? So if you will give, for example, 2000 memory, okay, like this. So more than 10,000 memory of the function, it's like you are giving that more than 1000 MB of memory is required to run your lambda function. So whenever you will give 1000 or plus memory, lambda function will come understand, okay, this is high performance lambda function you are creating, so it will allocate you the higher CPU size. But here what we are doing, we are only running the test, so we will give the 128. That's more than enough. Basic T2 micro instance is more than enough to run this function. Ephemeral storage also, if your lambda function is returning any cache and all those stuff, so it will give you the ephemeral functional also. These all are things are recently added. Earlier it was not there. See, by default timeout is the 3 seconds, right? So if you go and write 15 minutes, it say maximum 15 minutes is the only time, so you can't give that, so you have to be very careful. And after that, see the existing role. So my role is, I need to attach that role which I have not selected. So this is my role which I have created, lambda to DynamoDB, and save it. So this is like a basic configuration, it is required. Now when I want to trigger this lambda function, I need to add that trigger. So if you go and click there, so you will get these many options to trigger your lambda. Any of the service can call the lambda function. It's just you need to understand and you need to configure properly. So just search the S3 here. So which S3? This is my S3 bucket. At what event type I want to call the lambda function? There are put, post, copy, anything happen with my delete or the restore, glacier, anything happen with my bucket, I can go and call. So I will select all object event. I'm not specifying any event, but I want for all the event this lambda function should trigger. If you want for any prefix, like if that JPG files are entered or the PDF file entered, then only you call the lambda, so you can filter it out also. I want for all, so I'm just not selecting that. I acknowledge and then add. Okay, so we are done. Now just go to the code. This is my code. What you need to do, you have saved your function, but still you have not deployed. So just click on deploy button. It will deploy your code, and just go to the test. No, sorry, this is not the option. So now you have deployed your function is ready. Just go to the S3 bucket now. See, and let me go to my table also and go to explore table items. Right now we don't have any table items, right? So just go here and under this bucket, just quickly upload anything, any file, add files. Let's just upload this, my key only, okay, and upload. So my file is uploaded. Let's just see whether the data is reflecting here or not. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. I guess we need to create one test events also, but that's not important right now. Look, ठीक है. Let's just upload one more object. Yes, see. So the data is now here. PEM, for PEM file it is here. PPK it will take 1 or 2 minutes, it will upload. First I have uploaded PEM file, then I uploaded the PPK file. So it will take another minute for PPK also to generate the event. So what it has generated, it has generated the, this is my bucket name, this is the event, is object has been created, event time is created, what is the object, what is the object size. This is what I have passed in my code. You need to write in DynamoDB that bucket name, object key, size, event name, event type, in which, so this is my insert query, which is inserting all the items in my DynamoDB with the help of Lambda function. Any doubt?
I have to try once. Can you send that code, Python code?
Yeah, I'm sending that. Okay, so this is about the Lambda, and okay. Yeah, so we are done with the Lambda. See, second object is also now created. Okay, now next is route 53. So if you, we will discuss that tomorrow. I was planning to complete that by today, but it took more time. So what is Lambda
Okay.
Edge? So under Lambda Edge, see, Lambda is just nothing else. It is just a feature of CloudFront. Now what is the CloudFront? CloudFront is just a CDN, caching service hai, which will help us to deliver the content faster. Okay, it's like if someone is accessing my website from India, okay, from India, and if my server which is having my website hosted is in US, so definitely they will face some latency. So if I want the India person should serve from India only nearby, and I don't want to create the whole server here, so what we will do, we will create a CDN, that content delivery location, so which will bring the content here nearby India and they will serve that. So this is kind of edge locations. Okay, instead of whole server we create edge locations, caching location kind of. Okay, so from India people will serve from the edge location faster than the US server. यहाँ से यहाँ पे अगर 10 सेकेंड लगता था, so they will get response in 2 seconds here. So this is kind of a caching service we do with the help of CloudFront. In detail we will go when we will learn the CloudFront, but for Lambda Edge what I'm trying to explain here is Lambda Edge is a feature of CloudFront that lets you run your code closer to your user application. So Lambda, what is Lambda doing? It is running the function. So if I want to run that function closer to my application location, then we can go and create a Lambda Edge. That's it. This is just one concept we have. Okay. So that might be a question related to this, is if I want to run the code nearby my location or my application, then how to run that? Then there will be the option for selecting, that is the Lambda Edge. Run your code closer to your user. That's it. One liner definition. This line itself is having the idea about that. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.